had a really good UFC card overall in front of the Nashville crowd. The main event was kind of a dud, but I do want to start by just saying that the rest of the card, the prelims and even like most of the main card, a lot of good finishes, a lot of good, just good fights back and forth. I know one of them on the prelims that was hyped for me was Hadley versus Durden. So if you guys didn't see that one, check it out. But we're going to talk about the main event and the co-main event in a little bit more in depth here. So we'll start off with the main event. Cory Sandhagen defeats Rob Font by a pretty clear unanimous decision. Great wrestling and top control. I would say a lot of the crowd didn't like this performance, but you got to be impressed just by how well-rounded Cory Sandhagen has gotten, because you can remember a time where his grappling was this huge weakness in his game. And Rob Font, people know him as a boxer, but he has a really good guard and he's good off his back. So for Sandhagen to take him down and keep him there and just not let him up, because that's what Rob Font's good at, just sweeping people and getting up. And he couldn't do that against Cory Sandhagen. But I'll start with this. Do you think that the hate for this performance by Cory is warranted, or just what do you think of it? Okay, no. I agree. So I'll let you go first. What do you think?
I mean, it's all right to be upset at it, but people are calling him a fraud.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Really?
Yeah, it's like people were pissed about it, dude. It's yeah, I mean, I guess a fighter as exciting as Cory Sandhagen, it's just, yeah, I mean, I guess he gets the main event and it goes all 5 rounds, and so I guess you wanna take more away from it, but I
mean, to be fair though, I took a lot away from it. Like I just said, we didn't know his wrestling could be this good. He showed a new wrinkle of his game, and I don't know. I didn't really like what he said at one point. He said that he thought his grappling was levels above Rob Font, which I don't really agree with. I mean, if it was levels above, he would have been able to pass the guard a lot easier. But I think that's more of a testament to just how Rob Font was able to have his guard retention. You know what I mean? Because he has good guard retention. Most people don't give him credit for that. But Sandhagen, though, just the takedowns. I mean, Rob Font had no answer for it. I don't know if that was just out of a lack. I don't think it's really a lack of skill. I think it might have been more of just a surprise of that game plan. And then Cory also said too that he tore his tricep completely in the first round. So that's another reason it's kind of hard to throw bigger punches when your arm is just shot. But I don't know. I think the fans are kind of the ones who lose out more than anybody on this fight. Sadly, I don't know if this gets Cory a title shot, because the UFC doesn't tend to look too kindly on main events that are supposed to be just a banger clash, and then Cory Sandhagen just ragdolls him for 5 rounds. But it was an impressive performance to me, nonetheless. I mean, like I said, Rob Font usually has decent takedown defense, and Cory was just going right through it, and he's not even known as a wrestler. But I don't know where to go really from here. I was thinking of just transitioning to the co-main, but I think that there's kind of a point to be had of where does Cory go from here, because he wants the winner of Sterling versus O'Malley, but I don't know. Do you think that he deserves that, or do you think it'll be something else?
I think so, yeah, but
that he deserves it, or what? Which one?
I think I think he deserves a shot afterwards. But maybe it depends on who actually wins, or like you just mentioned about UFC not really looking even to jump the gun on giving Cory Sandhagen a title shot. Anyways, so
I would love to see him against Cejudo. Cejudo was one of those people talking shit about this win, but that's an interesting matchup because Cory's so tall. But Henry's wrestling is so good.
I don't know. It's weird. The Cory saying, it's weird how the hate just came just from this one fight.
Yeah, this dude's given us a bunch of wars, so many good finishes. I mean, when I think of Cory Sandhagen, I think of that flying knee of Frankie Edgar, the spinning heel kick against Marlon Moraes, the war with Dillashaw, war with Jan. I mean, even going back before all that, when he fought Mario Batista and he had he was in a deep armbar and anyone would have tapped, and he got out of it and ended up winning that fight. So I I think Cory Sandhagen's awesome. This fight only proves that more to me because, like I said, I think it's impressive to do what he did to Rob Font for all 5 rounds. I mean, the top control required, the stamina required, just a really good job by him. And I know it's not like the most fan-friendly fight, but overall, I was pretty impressed by his performance and his wrestling in particular. But speaking of wrestling, man, Tatiana Suarez versus Jessica Andrade. Now, we knew that Suarez's wrestling was insane, and I think she just continues to prove that her jiu-jitsu is right up there with it. Now, Jessica Andrade is no slouch, especially at 115 where she was once champion. And I thought she actually fought pretty well because she was fighting smart. She wasn't, because Jessica Andrade, she kind of wings shots sometimes, and that leads to her getting taken down. But she fought this one really safe. But Tatiana Suarez, she would get an ankle and just get in there for the takedown. It was unreal. Like, I truly believe her wrestling is some of the most elite in the sport, let alone in women's MMA in the sport. But in terms of just the women and 115 pounds, I think that her wrestling is unparalleled. I don't think anyone can stop it. So, just what did you think of this performance? Because I was super impressed by it because of just the level of competition.
Yeah, that's really impressive for someone as young as her to be doing that to a former champion in that way. Like, dude, I mean, she's been like nothing but dominant in her career so far. I mean, like, you know, if if this isn't the stepping stone to, like, you know, that big fight, then I don't know what really is, honestly.
I think this has to be.
I think you just have to strike while the iron is hot.
I mean, how impressive is it? She was out for so long. Like, how many? I got to find out because I really don't want to get this wrong and sell her short. But she was out for a while before her last fight, and she's 10-0 now. Let me see. So she came back at flyweight February of this year, and before that, she fought into June of 2019.
Wow.
So that's 4 years, almost 3.5 years, I'd say. That's unreal. And then she came back and she's beaten 2 killers at 2 different weight classes, mind you. So for her to do that, and like I said, just that impressively against someone like Jessica Andrade, that's just insane. And I think that she's probably one fight away from a title. And to be honest with you, at 115, I don't see anyone able to stop her besides maybe the champion or just from style, like the style standpoint, Mackenzie Dern. Because if you're going to take her down, you're dealing with that jiu-jitsu. And on the feet, I think that's where it gets a little interesting. But I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that she's one fight away, or she maybe has to have a couple?
No,
more?
yeah, I think she's one
Okay.
fight away. I she should be. It's just I don't know how it's actually gonna go.
Who's stopping this girl? Like, I can't see it. She's so dominant, and when she gets on top, like, she smothers these girls. It's unreal. And she did it to Carla Esparza too, like, who's another former champion and a great wrestler at strawweight. It's just insane. Like, I've seen enough. Like, I'm convinced that this girl is going to be a champion at some point. It's just a matter of when. And someone brought this up to me. I thought this was really cool. It was on an Instagram DM. But I was talking about Erin Blanchfield, because obviously we have some friends from Silver Fox, so they love Blanchfield over there, as do we. And he was talking about imagine Suarez versus Blanchfield, and then I one-upped it. I was like, imagine that Suarez becomes 115-pound champ, and then Blanchfield wins the title at 125, and we get champion versus champion. Woo! Woo! Could you imagine? Oh my god! Like, that gets me more hype than a lot of fights, dude. Like, just thinking about that. And I know I'd be way down the line if it happens. Both of them need to, even get to the point of winning a title. But, man, just thinking about that in any scenario, even if it's a 3-round fight, I don't care. I would love to see that before our time is up. You know what I mean? But, yeah, I don't know anything else to really say about this besides, like I said, I'm just super impressed. I don't know if you have anything to add before we go here.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, that champ versus champ thought was I mean, I'm pretty firm on Erin Blanchfield becoming a champion sometime soon. But just like again with Tatiana Suarez, like her path in MMA like to this point, like it's obviously hasn't like because obviously Aaron Blanchfield now I think that name is most certainly like bona fide like you know one of the best obviously women fighters in the world today. Like I think that's pretty known. And then while Tatiana Suarez is like she still has a huge chip on her shoulder, like especially now, with yet another win over a huge name, marquee name. So yeah, I think she's one fight away again.
Yeah, man.
That's how it should be. I think like someone like a Mackenzie Dern, for instance, like
Would love to see it.
exactly give her a huge run for her money. So
Be very interesting to see how that matchup goes. But I like I said, I still favor Tatiana. I'm pretty high on her at this point. But next week we are back at the Apex, which is a little bit rough. But main event, Luque versus RDA. I'm here for it, dude. I like it. Like at welterweight too, that's gonna be a fun fight. I mean, RDA's wrestling and his grappling is insane. Luque's awesome to watch on the feet, as is RDA. RDA is just like an all-around threat.
yeah,
But we'll see what happens with this fight. I'm pretty excited for it. Juliana Killer Miller returns. That's pretty cool. And it's a decent card overall with some fun fights. And we'll be back next week to talk to you guys about it. See y'all then.